Hi, welcome to Conspiracy Cases. I'm Jeff Dixon. I'm your host as we open up the conspiracy cases and look at some conspiracies that are very real as conspiracies, and they unfold in the world around us. Some are historical, some are present day, some bridge the gap between the two, and yet all are intriguing. Now, the point of this series is not to explain away any conspiracy, and we're certainly not in a position to prove anything that did or didn't happen. Instead, what we want to do is share the conspiracy with you, allow you to be discerning, you decide whether you believe it or not, you decide whether you want to dig further or not, but what we do at the end is give you some spiritual hooks, if you will, to at least frame your thinking about the conspiracy and see it as a way to grow your faith. And so this particular conspiracy case is the phantom time conspiracy. What if we're not living right now in 2026? See, that's when we're recording this. But what if we're not? What if we're not living in 2026? What if nearly 300 years of history were simply invented? I mean, what if the Middle Ages, roughly 614 to 911 AD, were fabricated? In other words, what if they just didn't really happen? See, tonight, or today, depending on when you're watching it, but we release it tonight, so we'll say tonight because it sounds better. Tonight, we step into one of the strangest historical conspiracy cases ever proposed, the phantom time conspiracy. Here's what that theory claims, if you've never heard of it. It suggests that 297 years of early medieval history were artificially inserted into the calendar, that the calendar of time was actually altered, that we are actually living nearly 3 centuries earlier than we think we are. Did you hear what I just said? You're living 3 centuries earlier than you think you are, according to this theory. You say, well, that's nuts. I'm living now. Yeah, I know you're living now, but how do you know that now is now? I mean, how do you know that 2026, when we're recording this, and maybe when you're listening to this, is really 2026? Who told you it was 2026? Well, the calendar. Well, of course. Now, I'm suggesting to you that according to this conspiracy case, the calendar has been altered. It's been fabricated long before you were born back in the Middle Ages, unless some of you were born in the Middle Ages. Long before you were born in the Middle Ages, somebody was tweaking the calendar. The theory centers on the idea that a man by the name of Heribert Illig, a German historian, argued that Emperor Otto III and Pope Sylvester II conspired to advance the calendar year forward to the symbolic year of 1000 AD, to rule during a millennial year of prophetic significance. The core of this conspiracy is argued that when the Julian calendar shifted to the Gregorian calendar, there should have been a correction that took place. But not enough days were removed, not enough days were corrected. The missing time in that calendar shift isn't just days. Missing time in that calendar shift represented fabricated centuries. Illig claims that there is a surprising lack of physical evidence from the years 614 to 911 AD. He suggested that we can't find any ruins of buildings that survive from that era. And so his conclusion, therefore, it may not have existed. He questions in his theory the legitimacy of Charlemagne, claiming that Charlemagne himself may be a fabricated ruler. He suggests that there are forged documents, that medieval scribes inserted fake records, that genealogies and chronicles were adjusted, that the church and empirical authorities cooperated in backdating events. all is a part of a master conspiracy to allow these two rulers, the emperor and the pope, to be ruling in the calendar year of 1000. The quest for power, the quest for notoriety. Is it powerful enough to change history? And the phantom time conspiracy. The case is now open. And so that's the backdrop that we're going to explore in the next couple of episodes. We're going to look at evidence against this way of thinking. And you say, well, good, because I can't wait. That makes no sense. And I say to you again, how do you really know it's 2026? I mean, how do you know that? I know the year I was born. I don't remember anything about that year. Matter of fact, I don't have any recollection until I'm a little bit older, 3, 4 years old, somewhere in there. And then I know the year because someone told me that was the year. See, our frame of reference is only in our lifespans. And so how do we really know if this conspiracy case has any legitimacy? Well, that's where the fun starts. And so I look forward to joining you next time as we continue to explore the conspiracy case of the phantom time conspiracy.